I'm Turlough Moondust, West Connemara's foremost jazz expert, I suppose. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Turlough Moondust, West Connemara's foremost jazz expert. So he says. Funny, he's always got the guitar around his neck, but you never see him actually play it. Well, I'm glad you asked me that question because, you see, the thing is, most jazz guitar players play a million notes in the hope of one day playing the wrong note at the right time. Whereas a good jazz guitar player will play the wrong note all of the time. But a true jazz great doesn't play any notes at all, any of the time. Why would he? Take, for instance, the great Tommy Blowhard from Ballinasloe, the finest jazz trumpeter Ireland has ever produced, but you probably never heard of him. Or if you have, it certainly wouldn't be as the finest jazz trumpeter Ireland has ever produced. You might know him as the lad behind the counter at Malloy's Butchers on the main street there, between Malloy's newsagents and Malloy's Chartered Accountants, opposite Malloy's pub. Notorious for firing bits of white pudding from a pea shooter at unsuspecting hairy vegans as they pass his shop, shouting and roaring at them while laughing his fat potato head off like a madyoke. Now, the thing with Tommy Blowhard, the finest jazz trumpeter Ireland has ever produced, is he's never actually played a note in his entire life. He doesn't need to. Well, I hope that answers your question. Now, I noticed there's a few musicians in here. I don't actually know if there are because I can't see anything, but I was going to assume that there are. There might be nobody watching. But some of you might have written the odd song, and the thing I'm about to say might offend some of you. There's a very real danger I'll lose half the audience here. But, feck it. If you're thinking about writing a song, I would strongly recommend using actual words in the lyrics. Don't be putting in grunting and groaning sounds or, ooh, baby, oh, oh, that kind of thing. And you might think you're being very clever by mimicking the sound a giraffe makes upon catching his own reflection in a giant spoon, but you're fooling nobody. I'm looking at you there, Yoko Ono. Like I say, get controversial, that one. There's always a chance you'll get the odd Yoko Ono fan listening in. What's the next bit? Take a sip of Guinness. Or wine. Take a sip of wine. I'm off the Guinness, by the way, till the fecker starts sponsoring me. You know the off-licence in Galway? You know the one I mean. On the corner there, by the bridge. Just down from Spanish Arch. Huge place. There's every kind of beer known to man they sell in there. Well, I was in there once, stocking up on the old tins. I walked straight up to the Guinness aisle when something strange caught my eyes. Right next to the cans of Guinness, they'd a rake of the other brand of porter. You know the one I mean. The Cork one. Now, normally I'd have walked straight past in disgust, but I was somewhat startled by the price tag. It appeared to be slightly cheaper than the real Guinness. Well, as I stood there doing a bit of mental arithmetic and concluding that it was indeed almost a semitone cheaper, I noticed, out of the corner of my eye, a not unattractive lady. She was walking slowly toward me, very slowly. slow enough to drag the story out for at least another 5 minutes. She seemed quite taken by me. She may even have had a bit of an old smile on her face. I stopped looking at the cans of Murphy's and fixed my eyes on the real Guinness. I didn't want her thinking I was some kind of cheapskate. I then noticed that they had bottles of Guinness, so I had a look at them for a moment. But then I thought, she might get the impression that I'm a bit too showy now. Well, I saw him there in the off-licence, and he seemed very nice and that, but then I noticed him looking at the bottles of Guinness, not the cans, the bottles. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be with someone who throws his money around like there's no tomorrow. Who does he think he is? So I quickly moved back to the cans. Now she was getting very close to me indeed, and appeared, well, positively smitten with me, to be perfectly honest with you. I checked my reflection in one of the cans, which wasn't very helpful, but at least I could see that my head was still attached. And the ladies love that. She was now standing right behind me, so close I could smell her perfume and the pungent aroma of black market cigarettes off her breath. Her slender hand reached over my shoulder. I was about to say, I don't even know your name. Can we at least go for a coffee first and discuss the socio-economic merits of bebop jazz? But instead, I blurted out, How's the crack? I'm Turlough. What's your name and where are you from? To which she replied, I just want to get a few cans of old Murphy's there. Thanks a million. Well, at this point, I noticed that the cashier behind the counter was having a good old laugh to herself, probably texting her friends. Mairead, you wouldn't believe what I'm after witnessing at work. And then Mairead texts back, It wouldn't be by any chance that Turlough lad now, would it? I don't know. What's he look like? Big hairy yoke. Always has a guitar around his neck, even though no one's ever actually seen him play it. LOL. Ah yeah, that's him all right. LMFAO. Well, I had to think on my feet and say something quick before I became the laughingstock of the town. So I said, I cannot believe that you would stoop so low as to drink that cheap fake beer. Have you no self-respect? You're not the woman I thought you were when first we met on that starry moonlit evening so many expensive bottles ago. Take your corked beer and get out of my house. It's over. I want a divorce. So that's the off-licence in Galway, on the corner there by the bridge, just down from the Spanish Arch. Huge place. They sell every kind of beer known to. I presume it's still there. I haven't been back since. Now, jazz music has a lot of chords in it. And to be perfectly honest with you, there's some of them that you wouldn't want to be messing around with. In fact, there's one chord in particular that has been known to summon up the ghosts of Count Basie and the 5 Christian brothers from the planet Bollix in the galaxy. Come on now. Clawing their way across the windswept earth, they twitch and writhe through field and marshland, the sodden turf sticking to their slimy skin as they move ever closer to the source of their discordant rage. Down winding lanes they groan, peering through the painted windows of bistros and bars, until at last they find him, that factful jazz guitar player who should awaken them from their peaceful slumber. And with their 1,000 claws they tear... the phone's ringing. Hello? It is, yeah. I am, yeah. I did, yeah. Ah, yeah. Sorry about that now. Right. Right. She is, yeah. Well, in fairness to Linda McCartney, she didn't jump around the stage banging a drum and screaming like a mad tinker woman. Hello? 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 Konnichiwa. That's Japanese for hello. Try to catch her out in case it is Yoko Ono herself. Hello? Call back. Oh, there you are. I thought you'd gone. Bye now. Oh, where was I? And with their 1,000 claws, they tear the strings from off the guitar, creating a cacophony of sound in the key of how dare ya. Sometimes the might of their mad fury would force the strings to lash back and nearly blind the eyes of the unsuspecting jazz guitar player, whose only crime was to try something a little bit different. So don't be playing any of those fancy chords. It's not worth the bother. I was going to drum over it. I can't be arsed, to be perfectly frank. Yeah, I've things to do. I have to go to the toilet for starters. So how do you end this thing? I suppose if I just walk away, then you'll all just leave. Oh, it's over. We'll finish now. We'll do something else. But then there'll always be one person, won't there, who'll stick around and he'll be saying, oh, hang on now. He might come back. Maybe he'll do an encore. He might even play the jazz guitar for once. Well, if that's what you're thinking, you're barking up the wrong alleyway. If you think I've nothing better to do than amateur dramatics of exiting and entry... Oh, I can just hit the power button. Grand. All right, thanks a million. Bye now. Bye. Bye now. Bye now. Bye. Bye now. Bye. Bye now. Bye now. Bye now. Bye now.